Hello, everyone, and welcome to the sixth edition of Programmers Week, our company's largest technical event. I am very happy to be here again for the second time as a speaker, and I'm Anna Bandas, a community manager in Cognizance of Vision, and today I want to give you some hopefully valuable insights from my career, consisting in 25 easy steps that helped me in my journey from junior developer to community manager. Who am I and how has my career evolved so far? I've been part of the IT industry for 18 years now. I've been part of three companies, a small company where we were like a family. The second company I joined was a product company, and most of my career for over 8 years now, I've been part of Cognizance of Vision. Almost half of my career, I've been a software engineer. And 6 years ago, I actually switched to a management path, starting as a line manager here in Soft Vision, and transitioning a few years later to a delivery manager role. I've been a site manager, and currently I am a community manager responsible for part of our web community here in Romania. I know that the titles don't really mean a lot, maybe to some of you, but just to give you a quick glimpse, all the management roles that I had so far actually took me in different areas and zones. So I've been responsible for delivering great projects for some of our clients. I've been responsible for the growth of our Yash studio, well-being of our colleagues here in Yash, and also presenting and being part of what our company image was in our local IT market. But the things that I think enjoyed the most and along my career is being part of other people's career journey, helping them grow, finding new challenges that they can explore, and most importantly, having fun while doing all of these things. So this is just to sum up what my current role as a community manager in Cognizance of Vision is. I would like to tell you a bit the story behind this photo, which is one of my favorite one. This was actually taken at the Octopen Day, which was an event that happened in our Yash studio, similar to an open doors event in 2017. The photo was from the presentation of the company that I held, and it actually expresses the joy and the personal accomplishment that I felt in achieving, in organizing, getting the team together, getting the people involved in organizing that event, in having a different presentation, and putting, let's just say, our Yash studio again on the map in the local IT community. So I mentioned that we are going to talk about 25 steps. These steps are actually concepts and skills that I believed helped me in my journey from junior developer to community manager. We will take it step by step and maybe take a deeper dive into each one of them. Explain why I think it helped me, how maybe I've worked on improving that certain skill, or why knowing and understanding a certain concept helped me, and hopefully it will also help you to get better at what you're doing and really evolve in your career. So actually, when I was 6 years old, I took all my coins from my piggy bank and took my friends from the block to get some ice cream, just because I wanted to, and it felt good to be with my friends, and I wanted to do something nice for them. I was that kind of child. Of course, that particular event also transitioned into the into the worst moment that my parents probably lived, because I forgot to mention that I was going to get ice cream with my friends. So they were pretty upset when they didn't find me in the spot that they left me. However, just getting some good vibes and enjoying some quality time with my friends was somehow still worth it. When I started in school, actually in middle school and high school, I was also the class president. Probably because I was pretty well organized. I somehow managed to get my colleagues to engage in certain activities. I actually had a very good way of communicating and discussing with our teachers, sometimes really getting to help our entire class skip some classes. Oh, well, that happened. And after that, during my faculty years, I was actually involved in a lot of volunteering work. I was part of the Student Association group. I organized different events, and that also helped me and happened to be part of the main social skills that I had, and what I think really helped me throughout my career. Just being a social person, being easy to talk to, really engaging people, wanted to do things together. Basically, where there was people, I was probably there, just to have fun, just to discuss, just to get to know new people and better relate to them. Social skills as a concept is part of the wider area called emotional intelligence. Some of the social skills that I think are very important to be developed in order to have a successful career are communication both verbally, written, non-verbal, active listening. We sometimes say we are listening, but maybe we are just hearing blah, blah, blah. That is not listening, not active listening. When we listen to someone, we need to understand what they are saying, the message that they want to tell us, and to be able after that to offer some valuable advice if the case is there. Cooperation and collaboration. We need to be able to work together to achieve new things. So the way we cooperate and collaborate can be the key to how our overall team and group we are part of succeeds. Conflict management. I'm pretty sure that all of you at some point have been maybe observing a conflict between other people, or actually be one of the persons involved in a conflict. So being able to transition to find a resolution in that conflict and getting past that conflict is very important. I've noticed that doing a very good first impression is a very valuable skill set. It's the first image, let's just say, that another person has of you. So you need to make it count. This can happen either when you meet a client, when you meet a new colleague, when you go to an event and do a presentation. So make sure you are doing your best in doing a first good impression. Relationship and building strong and meaningful relationship for me was really a key aspect that I invested in along the years, and I feel lucky enough now to say that I have great friends that we've known each other since fifth grade. I knew more people and more valuable persons in my life during faculty years. From each company that I've been a part of, I managed to build some strong and meaningful relationships that really helped me over the year. Maybe with a future opportunity, or maybe get back to that person with some advice, or maybe just hang out and get together and say hello and exchange some valuable insights and ideas. So I think my takeaway and from this is just make sure that you are interested in the people who are around you, and allow them to also get to know you. You never know what common interests maybe you share with the person next to you if you don't communicate and open up. We are part of the IT industry, so you cannot really build a strong career in this field without some solid technical skills. I started to really invest building a solid technical background when I joined the Faculty of Computer Science. I actually decided to join this faculty based on my math skills and not necessarily my programming skills, which were pretty limited after high school. I have to admit it wasn't very easy for me at first. I felt like there was a lot of catching up to do on some basic knowledge, but I took it step by step. I started to work after finishing the faculty years as a .NET engineer back in 2006, and I actually started with the VB.NET 1.1. I don't know if it sounds familiar for some of you. And then transitioned over the years to ASP.NET and working with different versions of C#, reached 3.5 version. During that time, I also gained some Microsoft certifications that were available back then, and the Subvision actually supported me in achieving those certifications. I did some small interaction with Ajax, jQuery, and of course, database work. And actually, all the database part was actually my favorite area in the faculty. And I was really very passionate about this back then, and also when I was a programmer. Along these years, I understood the need of applying best practices, following solid principles, having a good code quality coverage during doing code reviews. Having hands-on experience with all of this was really helpful when I also switched to a manager role, because I was able to better relate to some of the challenging that my team was facing. I was also able to understand their way of thinking, why they were giving certain estimates, what they took into consideration when they were working on those estimates. I always tried to help my team get better of how to propose maybe a certain technical solution in front of our client. So this is how I related to the technical part during my line manager and my delivery manager role, when I was very involved in delivering projects to some of our clients. In my community manager role, it's also something that it's really helpful, and I am working constantly on learning new things, not necessarily doing programming anymore, but understanding what each language has to bring to the table, why use a certain framework compared to other. And like this, I really need to understand the technical skills required for a certain project and find the best person to work in that project. I need to represent my community in a meeting with an existing or potential client. I need to be able to also stand in front of my team and understand, relate, and be empathetic on what their challenges are. So I think you should choose a path to start on a certain area of technologies, but my recommendation would be not to be afraid to explore other areas as well. Technology and programming languages and frameworks evolve so much and so quickly. So I think that the more open you are to learning something new, the easier you will ramp up in a new area. So you may have social skills, you may have technical skills, but that will definitely not be enough for you in order to achieve and to grow and build a solid career. You really need to work hard for it. So I think that this quote is pretty self-explanatory, that while most are dreaming of success, winners wake up and work hard to achieve it. I will just take a moment to mention that, as you know, it is a webinar, and fortunately, we are not really able to interact and get your questions along the way. So please, if you have any questions, we will address them at the end of the presentation. So please add them in our Q&A section. Okay, and pause. Great things cannot be achieved alone. You can learn by yourself, be a one-man show, develop projects just by yourself. You may feel like you don't need a mentor or support from anyone in order to achieve something. You can do that, but up to a certain point where you will probably get stuck. You can achieve greater things when you are part of a team and you are a team player. Understanding what your responsibilities are, what you can do to help your team achieve the team's goal. Understand that it is not enough just to do your job perfectly. It's actually not good. It's actually no good if at the end the overall goal of the team has not been achieved. So just like this image, each team member is responsible for building a piece of the puzzle and being able to place that piece of the puzzle at the right place and make sure that what other their team members are building, their puzzle piece, matches perfectly with their. Together is better. Once I started my management path, I really took a deeper dive into what leadership is all about. I really think that this quote from Simon Sinek is very relevant to what also my belief about leadership is. And leadership is not about the results. It is about taking care of the people who are responsible for the result. We need to understand that leaders, we lead by example, whether we like it or not. People in our teams look at us as role models, want to learn from us, watch us at every step. So we need to make sure that we practice what we preach, we offer them support, we offer them guidance, we create opportunities for them to engage in and be able to grow. Self-awareness is another concept related to emotional intelligence. It describes our ability to not only understand our strengths and weaknesses, but also recognize our emotions and the effect they have on us and others. For me, it was actually a point that I struggled for a very long time. I was very insecure about how well I was doing a certain task. I had a huge fear of failure. I had a feeling of not being good enough. And I realized at one point that it was entirely up to me to get past this, and found a few things that really helped me improve this area. So first and foremost, it's to really acknowledge and understand what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. What are your strengths that can really push you more in front, in getting ahead, and what are your weaknesses? What are your setbacks, and how you can work on those weaknesses to improve them? And maybe, at one point you will no longer consider them as weaknesses. Asking for feedback. For me, this is probably one of the things that really helped me a lot in improving my self-awareness. Asking for feedback after each action, after some important actions that I was doing in my career, either if it was a presentation or either it was meeting with a client. I always ask for feedback, of course, for people who I personally believe that they could give me some constructive, valuable, and meaningful feedback. And of course, acting on that feedback, but we will discuss a bit later in the presentation on the feedback subject. Labeling emotions. Having a strong emotional vocabulary, understanding that, I'm not just happy, sad, I'm scared of something, I'm angry. I can also be like demotivated, I can be disappointed, I can be joyful. Labeling this emotion and understanding how I am feeling at a certain point really helps me know how I usually react or act when I feel those emotions. Positive self-talk. This is also pretty self-explanatory. You can't expect others to be kind to you and speak nice to you if yourself are only doing negative talk to yourself and saying I'm not good enough. I already mentioned that this was something that I was struggling with. So doing more positive self-talk after you accomplish something, hey, great, I did that, I'm so proud of myself, will help you maybe put a bit more positive energy on your agenda and on your batteries to help you go to the next task. Introspection and self-reflection. This is also something that is really that has really helped me throughout my career, and I'm still using this. Either it's at the end of a week, either it's at the end of a more complex project that I've been part of it, either it's maybe at the end of a quarter. I just like to take a moment to sit back and really think of what happened. You know, you are probably doing that also in your retrospective meetings in your teams. But it's even better if you are doing it for yourself. Keeping a journal, it's not necessarily something that I've practiced, but I know people that work very well using this system, and also help them a lot to just have a journal where you note how you're feeling, what happened in that day, how you react to it, and then just go through that, I don't know, at a certain point in time. If you have great self-awareness, you've improved on that self-awareness level, you should be able to answer to this question: what is your superpower? So really think about it, and I hope that you will be able to quickly respond to this question. So we might be like the best programmer on the planet, have exceptional technical skills, but we are not going to become a true professional without being able to interact with the client and understand a client's need and their business. Why? Because even though you might develop a great project for your personal use, you can't really do this forever. At some point, you will develop a project that will be used by others, and your users will be your customers. And of course, what happens probably for the most of us, you will have a customer who will come to you with a need, with a problem that they need solving, and they will come to you for help in addressing that need. I actually started to interact with the clients right from the beginning of my career. I was working in a small company and had direct channel communication with my client. When I worked in a product company, I had a very good view on how the customer were interacting with our product, the issues they were facing, the language that they were using in expressing both satisfaction and dissatisfaction with our product. I honestly learned some good slang from that period of time. And in Subvision, I started to work on a project for one of our biggest clients at that time. I developed over time a great relationship with different stakeholders from our client, and went on my management journey with the same client that I started to work for as a developer. I had the privilege to visit their headquarters in US a few years ago, and it was really a great experience for me. I think that as a professional, it's always very important to pay attention to our customers' business, to understand what their problem actually is, and propose a solution in order to address that problem, and not necessarily execute what they come and ask for. Having a consultant mindset is what contributes to gaining a customer's trust, satisfaction with our product, and transform him into becoming a loyal a loyal customer who will come back to your company and bring more business. So please don't ignore and take advantage of each opportunity you have to interact with your customer. Do you have a mentor, or are you a mentor for someone? I really hope that the answer is yes to at least one of the two questions. I was lucky I was lucky enough to have had different mentors along my career, people who I've looked up to, people who offered me different opportunities and challenges that really pushed me out of my comfort zone and achieved great new skills and be better at my job and actually be a better person at the end of the day. A mentor can be a family member, a friend, a peer, someone you trust, someone you admire, and someone you can reach to ask for advice or just switch some ideas. The first time that I really felt I was a mentor, or other people might see me as their mentor, was when I was part of the training team for our .NET pre-employment program here in SoVision 7 years ago. I took a good look in the mirror back then and really did my best to offer support to make sure that the people in the program felt comfortable enough to come to me and ask questions, make sure that the feedback I offered was valuable, and also follow up on that feedback. In my management roles, I try to pay the great attention to making sure that my team members feel comfortable enough to come to me for advice, or just to, just to blow off some steam. In the same time, I was always looking for ways to challenge them, push them to take on different opportunities that I really felt it will help them grow. It doesn't work with everybody. We don't click with everybody, but when it does, and when you see that someone you were able to help is better, grew in a certain area, achieved maybe a certain role, it's where you can say it was all worth it. So just to sum up, mentoring is really a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction. So I really hope that you will find your mentor and be the mentor that you wish you had for a certain someone. About the growth mindset, I've actually started to do a deeper dive back then in this subject a few years ago when I actually did a presentation at Code Camp on this subject. And I read a book that is called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success from Carol Dweck. And actually noticed that mindset, it's what limits our potential or enables us for success. A fixed mindset is actually the belief that our qualities are carved in stone. If you have talent, you will definitely have success. A growth mindset comes from the belief that your basic abilities can be developed. You work for it, you look at it from a different direction, and you know that brains and talent are just the starting point in achieving success. So I just want to leave you with just a few phrases and how you can rephrase them in order to adopt a growth mindset. So I'm no good at this. You can really switch it up to what am I missing? I can't make this any better. It's good enough. Don't worry, things can always be better. Is this the best I can do? This is too hard. Well, you can definitely rephrase it to, I will need to put a bit more effort into this. Plan A failed, I'll just give up. We should have a plan B and put it into action. I'll use a different strategy. I made a mistake. I will learn from this mistake. Others can do it. No, you can do it yourself and you can learn how to do it. I'm the best of this. No, you can always be better. I'm on the right track in being the best. Change can be a scary word. Some people probably just did like, just by seeing this picture. How we embrace a change and with what mindset we look at change, it will determine our failure or success in accepting and transitioning the change. When we look at it as a chance to do something different, learn something new, meet new people, overcome some personal challenges, things will look better already. Chance is not a scary word. And I'm sure maybe the people who actually read chance before of change actually smiled a little when they saw that word. So I changed different roles, as you've seen at the beginning of the presentation. I've switched roles and responsibility along the years. And I am also now part of an organization who went through different changes in the last years. A merger, being acquired by a bigger company, switch from a vertical structure to a matrix structure. And here I am, still standing, still pretty sane and still motivated and excited to what's yet to come. Being flexible and adaptable is key to embracing change and transition it in a sustainable way. And let's think of this pandemic that came over us, and we needed to adapt in a matter of days to a full work from home mode and live in this new normal. So even this change was actually a chance for us to learn new ways of staying connected and continue to grow as a professional without physical interaction at the office. I hope you all took a mental picture of this photo, and make sure you think about it when you face your next change. When I started to gain more experience and take on more responsibility, it suddenly hit me. A day has only 24 hours, a week only 7 days. A working day has 9 hours, give or take, including lunch break, and 5 working days within a week. Groundbreaking, I know. How was I supposed to do all the tasks that came and were more and more, and they were becoming overwhelming? How was I supposed to do all those tasks? And also, how could I do other tasks that involved mentoring, team discussions, client meeting, find time to focus on strategy, and of course, also have some leftover energy to get alive? So one of the answers is through delegation. So how does this work? You actually start by choosing an appropriate task that can be delegated to someone. Once you've identified that task, you need to choose the appropriate person, a person you trust and know that it is in their ability to do that task. Discuss with him and set a clear objective and plan in order to achieve that task. Make sure he implements it. Make sure that while he implements it the first time, you monitor how he is doing, and at the end, have a discussion with him, evaluate or review how that task has been done. If it has been done great the first time, thumbs up, great job. If it wasn't perfect, just give him some constructive feedback, and make sure that the next time you will be able to see him be better and do that task just as well, or maybe even better than maybe you would have done. Being able to delegate should actually result in a win-win situation. For you, the person who delegates the tasks, it means gaining that extra time you wanted to do the other tasks, the tasks you feel are important for you and not just for you. For the person you delegate the task to, it's probably an opportunity for him to grow. So he also has something to win from taking on that tasks. Optimism is one of my superpowers. Some people really underestimate optimist people, thinking that they are not down to earth, they are just dreamers, they don't get the reality. And that is not true. An optimist is a person who understands that now things are pretty difficult. There are some challenges to overcome, but this situation will end. And after that, things will improve and hopefully the sunshine will appear. Empathy is also another concept related to emotional intelligence, and leaders really need to know how to read the person and the room. They should strive to understand their colleagues' feelings and perspective. This really enables them to communicate and collaborate more effectively with their peers. What actually helps me in mastering or really put an emphasis and use the way I can empathize with others, I usually like to put myself in the other person's position. I like to pay attention to the other person's body language, voice tone, and cadence when the video is off, for example. Acknowledge, respect, and respond to their feelings. Maybe share some personal examples in a certain situation if I have them, and I believe that it would help the other person feel more comfortable that, okay, you are not the only one that has been through this. I have also been through this. Here's what helped me in that situation. And also showing some vulnerability, which is not very easy for us. And especially when maybe you are in a certain role, you think that vulnerability is a weakness. It's actually no, it's actually not. And you can find Brené Brown talking about vulnerability and why it is important to show a bit from once in a while. Having a set of personal values and also be part of a company that has strong values that guides its culture are key aspects of building a strong career and being a true professional in the field. For me, I just want to point out part of cognizance of vision value that I strongly believe in, and I consider my personal value as well. So some of them are better together, make an impact, make it happen, inspire people. And some of my personal values that together with the company values really, I guess, define me as a person and a professional. These are honesty, respect, balance, authenticity. So all of these values are values that I believe in, values that I respect, values that I practice. And at the end of the day, you need to be able to say that you followed and you did your best and you did it with integrity. So I really hope that each one of you has a set of values that each of you follow in their day-to-day life and professional life. I hope you enjoyed the presentation so far. I've actually asked a few of my colleagues for feedback on my slides and my presentation and implemented it all, including today. I do this with every presentation that I prepare, no matter the scope of it. This is what helps me be better and do better presentation each and every time. This is just a small example of where I use feedback. And Ken Blanchard, who wrote a very good book called The 1 Minute Manager, really focuses on the importance of feedback. And it really is the breakfast of champions. In its book, he mentioned that both positive feedback and constructive feedback can be delivered in no more than 60 seconds. So make sure that you acknowledge and give positive feedback when needed, and do it, very precisely on making sure that the person who receives it gets the best out of it. You can say great job. It can be good, but it's even better if you do, hey, great job at presenting that technical solution that you came up with to our customer. You were very concise and you won our client because of that. This is even better. The person really knows what he did well and what he needs to do just as good the next time. Also, receiving good feedback is a good quality to have. I've noticed people who don't really pay attention to positive feedback and say it's not important. I just want the constructive feedback. I'll only learn from that one. No, positive feedback is just important. Just say thank you when you receive it. Get all your positive energy from that and move forward. Receiving receiving constructive feedback, the other side, giving and receiving can also be done in no more than 60 seconds. It's very important to give constructive feedback on point on the task that the person has done and not on the person. Feedback does not mean to be personal, and you need to be able to work with that person after you gave them constructive feedback. And also, you as a professional understand that constructive feedback can really help you be better at some point. You can ignore some of them. Maybe you just feel that it doesn't all apply to you, but it might be just a few things that you can actually work on improving. So make sure that you pay attention, that you accept both positive and constructive feedback, and also give it to other people in the right way. So we already found out that it is groundbreaking news that the day has 24 hours and the rest after that. We found out that through delegation, we are able to actually make some time in our schedule. But having time is not enough if we cannot manage it effectively. There are still days when I start the day with an empty calendar, maybe write some tasks that I want to achieve that day. And at the end of the day, look at that list and realize that I did very few of them, or even worse, none of them. Time management requires discipline, and a few things that do help me in working efficiently in using my time are trying to plan ahead. Look the day before at the calendar. If it's really empty, then try to add inside your calendar some specific tasks and times when you want to address those tasks. Prioritize well. Make sure that the tasks that require your attention, your full focus, you are doing them in the best moments of your personal time, either in the morning or whenever you feel you are the most productive. Organize yourself. Remove non-essential tasks. So really focus on what's important for you to achieve that day, and of course, who are in your responsibility. Take breaks between tasks. You really need to gain and put a bit some more energy into your personal battery in order to move forward to the new tasks. And make sure you remove all distraction, especially when you really need to be focused on something that you are doing. So try to turn off notification, maybe put the phone away on silent, and just really be in the zone. So I grew up in a normal family. My parents were both teachers, so needless to say that we weren't swimming in dollar bills. However, from an early age, I had small financial education lessons from them. They always mentioned me that we will always find money for shelter, food, education, and health. And I understood how to prioritize things in life for which money is used, and handling a budget from an early age. I had to manage a certain budget when I was in high school, when I was at the faculty year. I had my scholarship, which was, for me, it was pretty consistent back then. I saved money to take a vacation, and then when I started to have my salary, my income, I really started to see how I can use it wisely. I actually first took a bank loan when I was 26, together with my husband, to buy our apartment. And I don't have a credit card. So financial education is understanding at least some basic concepts that we use in our day-to-day life. Saving, budgeting, investing, credit and debt, financial safety and security. Of course, if you are in a manager role, you need to really understand how to work in within a budget, how to stay within a budget, how to prioritize, and maybe actually save some some budget for something else. I think that understanding these concepts and having the right mindset in this area can really improve our quality of life. So be thankful for what you have, and you will end up having more. If you focus on what you don't have, you will never have enough. So we really need to take care of ourselves. So what I'm doing in this area, I'm having a pretty good sleep, and not necessarily the duration is important, but also the quality of sleep. I'm taking an average of 7,100 steps. This is actually the pandemic version, so it's not great. I usually used to walk to the office and back, and my average was towards 10,000 steps. Find time for your hobbies and your interests. So during this pandemic, I actually perfected a bit over five recipes. I have 26 vacation days, and I actually take and enjoy each one of them. It's very important to understand that a vacation day is not necessarily related to taking a trip. You can use a vacation day to do something for, I don't know, go to the spa, or spend time with your family, or just finish something in your house that you wanted to do for a long time. I know I have friends who have like 40, 45 something vacation days, because they kept adding year after year. And I say, okay, so how does this help you? I actually check my office email twice a day during my vacation. Even though I'm not fully disconnected from work, this actually helps me more in knowing that when I get back to work, I will not have 5,000 emails to go through. And I've actually stayed away from any chat conversation or chat channel at work during my last vacation. And it's something that I'm really keen on doing in the future. So did you ever snap at someone at work or outside of work? And you probably felt bad about it. Do you think you could have avoided it in any way? Well, the answer most probably is that yes, you could have avoided this. And I found myself a few years ago that I was taking all my emotional baggage from work at home, and sometimes ended up having zero patience and zero tolerance for error towards my daughter. And I realized that self-regulation is clearly something that I need to work on. So self-regulation is basically the ability to influence or control our emotions, particularly in stressful situations, and hopefully maintain a positive outlook despite the setbacks. What works for me in improving this zone is reframing negative thoughts, identifying what pushes my button, identifying how I can also, put in balance the invested energy versus the outcome, removing myself from a stressful situation for the short term, mentally or physically, practice different activities that calm me during breaks, or vent out sessions with some of my colleagues. So unfortunately, fortunately for me, none of my outbursts, let's just say so far, had a critical impact. However, I didn't want to go into really doing and snap in an important meeting with some clients. So really know that a moment of patience in a moment of anger saves 1,000 moments of regret. In my last year of faculty, I studied for one semester in Spain as an Erasmus student, and it was the first interaction that I discovered so many cultures, so many different views of things, so many unique characters. Diversity and inclusion has become a very hot topic in the industry today, and companies are really looking to build team that have people with different background, different gender, different education, different seniority. And this is really good. But because if we were all the same, and if you would have a team that everyone had the same background, behaved the same way, then they will probably think the same way, and there will be zero room for innovation. So having a diverse team is really important to have, like people who bring their own ideas to the table and really put a plus. We all have something unique, and we all can bring out value in our project, in our team. Choosing the right answer when you get a question or a challenge or an opportunity. So I've actually noticed that it's good to say yes when it's an opportunity that you gain new skills, or it's a possibility to extend your network, and or you can grow, or of course when it is your responsibility. It's good to say no, and it's very good to have the courage to say no when you don't really have, for example, the time for it. It's not your responsibility. You don't have any gain from that action. And just remember that there is still life after you say no to a person or to a task. Or of course, any other option is applied. Maybe you can help the person that asked you something you said no today, but maybe tomorrow you will be able to help them. Creativity is also something that is really important, because it opens up the room for innovation. And here, I think that what I've noticed is that usually the activities and the hobbies that each person has maybe outside of work, when they bring these hobbies or think of things that they are doing in their personal time into the workplace, usually great ideas come up in these braining source sessions. So really let your mind explore and have fun while you are at work. Personal brand is how you see yourself meeting how others see you. And I've actually conducted a survey between my friends, my family, my peers, and my team members, asking them to point out 3 things that describe me. And I was actually very happy to see that there were a lot of similarities between how my close friends and family saw me in my personal life to how my team members and peers saw me in my professional life. So that means I'm genuine and I'm true and I act the same way with everyone. So maybe you can take this exercise and figure out who you are, what you want to be known for, and just work in that direction and make sure you can point out a few things that really make out your personal brand. Return of investment is really a simple concept. What you put in and what you get out of it. Just think of it as what you put in. It's either money, energy, time. Make sure that everything you invest from any type of category, actually you get something out of it. So the final step, which I do feel it's very important, and it is in our power to do it, surround yourself with people who are only going to lift you higher. And if Oprah said it, it must be true. So make sure that the people you have around you offer you support, mentorship, guidance, a shoulder to cry on, and a good laugh. So these were all the 25 steps. And speaking of people who take you higher, I just want to leave you with a few Goodreads that actually were gifts from some of my entourage, as I was saying, my sisters, some colleagues at work, and each one of them had really an important toll on my career. So thank you. I know we are pretty short on time, but hopefully we'll be able to take some questions. And let me see if we have any. Someone is asking if there will be a record. I think that the webinar will be registered. And will probably be available, I think, either on the website, and you will definitely receive a copy. So I'm great you enjoyed our discussion, and I really hope that you found something valuable and you've learned maybe hopefully something new. I will stop sharing now. So we do have some questions. Let's see, we have 4 minutes. I managed to see them now. Sorry for the inconvenience. So Ioana wants to know, from the steps mentioned, which one do you think is the hardest one to achieve? Well, for me, personally, I think self-regulation was the hardest one to achieve. It was something that I consistently worked on. I'm not really succeeding always, and I'm constantly working on that. Ioana, another Ioana, would love to hear how I dealt in some cases with the lack of transparency in opportunities if you had this issue. I really don't know if I have anything. Clearly, there were situations where maybe I didn't have the whole picture of what it will mean, what my responsibility would be. Actually, there is the lack of transparency. I don't think it was intended. It probably just happened. But I would take the example when last year I was asked to be a jury member for our coding contest. It was like a short call from one of our colleagues in the HR department and saying, "Hey, Anna, would you like to be a jury for our coding contest?" Had to say yes on the spot. Luckily, it was the only available weekend that I didn't have nothing else planned. And it was actually a great opportunity that that happened for me, and I'm really thankful that I was able to do that. So lack of transparency is not necessarily something that it is intended, and for me, I usually just, sounds like something great. I will just get the hang out of it and, learn while you go. Loredana wants to see the page with the books again. Like I said, this will be recorded, and if not, Loredana, I know who you are. I will personally give you the list of books. And if the recording is not going to be available, I will publish somewhere this list of books. How much, Lucian wants to know how much technical coding skill is enough to think about a managerial path. A pretty hard question. Well, going into a managerial path, at least for me, it wasn't necessarily something that I pursued from the beginning. It actually really just happened. An opportunity came and I decided to take one. I didn't plan to have just 8 years of coding and then become a manager. It's really hard to define enough. I think that the most important part is to gain experience and understand that each year in your professional career will bring you some sort of experiences that will help you grow. Vlad wants to know how much time do you dedicate to technology code writing nowadays? So I don't do any code writing nowadays, only occasionally when I have to maybe help some of my colleagues do like a small script or adapt some HTML, CSS. But I do dedicate time. I can't really put a number on it, but I am interested in following certain websites, following the technology trends, listening to some valuable podcasts. So it's still part of my day-to-day life. It's a bit hard to really put a number on it. Somebody again wants to see the list of recommendation books. Sorry, I really had a lot of history. There's a history behind each book. We didn't really have time to go deeper into that. Like I said, we will find a way to deliver that list of books to each one of you. Katrish, how could I say if the people around me is the one I should be with? Well, this is actually something that you need to decide by yourself. Like I said, if the people around you find that they are offering support when you need them, they are bringing you, they are true to yourself, they are really discussing ideas, either they offer you, like I said, a shoulder to cry on, they are with you or give you an opportunity to do something else. They are going with you with positive talks, encouraging you to move forward. And Radmila, who made or is making a biggest impact to you? Well, I think the biggest impact that made for me at first was my mother and my sister, the female role models that I had that I have in my family. And also my father, who was always very strict, but always knew how I could really push myself in achieving something. And along my career, I have to say that probably the first managers that I had when I joined Cognizant's Vision made the biggest impact in my career. And I still appreciate them, and I still connect with them from time to time to catch up. So it honestly just happens that they are female. I am not necessarily putting an emphasis on that. Fortunately, I have actually found nowadays working with some great colleagues that I do feel and look to it as a mentor, and we really help each other, grow together and lift each other up. I think these were all the questions. I don't know if there's still maybe some time. I don't know how many attendants we have, but I will share my my screen again with the list of books. Sorry, so that didn't work. I will just mention this again. It was Ken Blanchard's The 1 Minute Manager. It was Daniel Goleman, Leadership and Emotional Intelligence. It was Simon Sinek, Together is Better. It was It was Mindset, The Psychology of Success. It was The 5 Levels of Leadership, and just too many screens now. The Courage to be Disliked, and Drive from Daniel Pink. But like I said, we will definitely make sure that the presentation will be available. And I'm really happy that you enjoyed this discussion. For me, it was a great experience to be able to be here again as a speaker at Programmers Week. And I'm really hope that we will see each other again. So thank you all. Thank you for taking the extra time in attending this presentation. Bye.